Hello guys and welcome to VoloKin Project. Today I'm gonna do a comparison between the best 5 phones you can buy at the market right now, just under £300. Of course imported, because we pay arm and leg over here. So most of those phones are last year's flagships. I've got 2 bonus entries as well. So today we're gonna have a look at the ZTE Axon 7, the Moto Z, the LG G5, Samsung Galaxy Note 5, bonus entry from 2015, and the 6.6-inch monster Honor Note 8. So let's get it on. So these are the 5 contenders today: LG G5, Axon 7, Moto Z, Note 5 and Note 8. So the first thing we're going to discuss today is one-hand usability, overall size, build quality and screen to body ratio. The last place, unfortunately, I gotta put the LG G5 because it's relatively big for its 5.3-inch screen. As you can see here, compared to the Axon 7, which has a 5.5-inch screen, it's almost as tall, almost as wide. And the problem with the LG G5 is the plastic they've used everywhere. The bottom looks okay, the sides are pretty much terrible, and the back cover I really had to put this skin on top because it feels just terrible and it picks up scratches like nothing else on the market. The camera setup, I'm not particularly a fan of the design of it. The fingerprint reader looks a bit ugly and cheap as well, so last place goes to the LG G5. They could have done so much better, but unfortunately they didn't. Now for the rest 4, I can't really say which one is best and which one is better than the other one. All I can say is that on the Axon 7 you really have a top of the line premium build of the phone. Everything is nice and sturdy. As you can see, it's not hollow in any way. The fingerprint reader is kind of inbuilt and is very nice. As you can see, the color is pretty dope as well. It reflects light like nothing else. Pretty nice aluminum build, very high quality. The glass feels like glass, unlike the plasticky G5. Speaker grills here, buttons here. I really love the design, and overall in-hand field as well. That's a one-hand device. As you can see, I can easily reach, although I've got medium hands. So I'm gonna leave this one over here. Now we've got the Moto Z. The Moto Z is a little bit taller than it should be, especially visible in the wide version. The wide version looks quite a lot bigger, and it doesn't look that nice at the front, especially with all these sensors visible. But at the back, I really prefer this one, to be honest with you. I was thinking about to make a hybrid between those two, but I'm still considering that. And the highlight of this phone is definitely the metal back that you have. It really feels really nice, really premium materials overall, and razor sharp slim. I mean, have a look at this one. There is no other phone on the market, especially on the flagship territory, which is that slim, and it feels very nice and lightweight in the hand. Now moving on to the Note 5, it definitely has some premium heft to it. Of course, there's a glass back, it's a fingerprint magnet, as you can see, and I really like this rainbow effect at the back cover as well. On the sides, we've got a premium, very premium materials used everywhere. Metal, of course. The front looks very nice as well. It retracts the light as well as the same as the back. So overall, I'm quite happy with the design of the Note 5. Size-wise, is the same, absolutely the same as the Moto Z from this angle, but it packs a 5.7-inch screen, so definitely thumbs up for the Note 5. And on the last, in no particular order, is the Honor Note 8 for 6.6 inches. I mean, you can't really expect a good one-hand usability, although it's not exactly terrible, but you're gonna struggle with one hand. But the overall build quality, man, check this out. This thing feels so solid. It feels the most solid of all of them. Premium made aluminum over here, a little bit of plastic on the bottom, aluminum on the sides as well. Really nice glassy feeling to the screen as well. So definitely thumbs up to Honor for the build quality of the Honor Note 8. Now the second thing I'm going to talk about are fingerprint readers. The last place again goes to the LG G5. Check this out. The button just wobbles, it feels pretty bad and plasticky, and the screen turn on times are not particularly good. Check this out. I mean, it's very reliable, it definitely is very reliable, but it takes a good half a second for the screen to turn on. And our second place goes to the Axon 7, simply because before Nougat the Fingerprint Reader was actually terrible. Now after Nougat they did something and they improved quite a lot. So as you can see, it's quite reliable, it definitely gets the job done. Check this out. I really like the Fingerprint Reader, but as I said, after the Nougat update. Now third place goes to the Note 5, simply because the Fingerprint Reader is at the front over here. You just press it like that and it goes to the screen. As you can see, it's not one of the fastest ones, but it's very reliable. It unlocks the phone at 100%. The only kind of downside that you have to press the button in order to unlock it, but once you press the button, as you can see, it works perfectly fine. And now let's have a look at the Moto Z. You press it over here, it unlocks, you press it again and it locks. Unlocks, locks. Although this fingerprint isn't set up, as you see, you can unlock with this one and lock with this one, basically with any finger. So it's extremely fast, it's extremely reliable, and I really like the position because it's comfortable in the hand to use this fingerprint reader. And now the first and undisputed place goes for the Honor Note 8. You just press it, slight touch, and your screen is on. Check this out. 100% of the time. Check how good it is. Check the reflection. Check the reflection over here. Can you see that? It's extremely fast, extremely reliable, and that's hands down my best fingerprint sensor on a phone. And basically most of the Honor and Huawei phones, they've got the best fingerprint sensors you can get. Now when it comes down to screens, this is my order, guys. The last place unfortunately again goes to the LG G5. 5.3 inches LCD quantum dot screen made by LG. The panel is quite dim, you can't really use it under 80% at any situation. The sunlight visibility is just about okay, but it's just the colors aren't there. Not to mention the screen rotation issues, which are inevitable in just a couple of months of using. After that we've got the Moto Z, followed by the Axon 7, and I'm gonna tell you why. Out of the box, those two screens are absolutely identical. Both 5.5 inches AMOLED 1440p screens. The calibration was the same out of the box, but I tweaked the calibration on the Axon 7 a little bit. There's an option that you do not have at the Moto Z. The screen is what it is. It's well calibrated, but you really need a little bit of customization, and you can get it on the Axon 7. In terms of brightness, I would say they're more or less on par, but the Axon 7 as well gets some extra points because you don't have the navigation buttons on the screen, you have them over here, so the screen real estate seems like a little bit more. The next place goes to the Note 5. It's 2-year-old panel, which is still very capable, and as you can see, the qualities of this panel are on par on the Axon 7 and the Moto Z. You've got customizations over here, although I really keep my phone on adaptive display because the rest of the modes are really awkward. Bonus points for the Note 5, simply because you've got the navigation buttons underneath here. You've got 5.7 inch screen in the same body as the Moto Z. Plus, check this out, in terms of brightness, it's not up to the top. If you switch it like that up to the top, this panel is definitely brighter, as you can clearly see on the camera. So basically you've got a little bit of, let's say, brightness boost that you don't have on the rest of the phones. Otherwise now it's on par with them. And the first place goes for the Note 8. Gorgeous screen, 1440p, 6.6 inches. In terms of brightness, that's the maximum brightness. It's absolutely on par with those two. This one is a little bit brighter, but you get bonus points because the screen is absolutely huge. The qualities are absolutely the same. You've got screen calibration as well. So basically, just because of the size, I'm gonna place this phone over here at the first place. Otherwise, probably in terms of the qualities, the Note 5 is the best screen overall. But when it comes down to media consumption, that's the screen you're gonna go for. Now, in terms of recharge times, all of those phones recharge very quickly. Now, if I have to be precise, the LG G5 recharges for 1 hour 10 minutes. It has 2800 mAh of battery. The Moto Z recharges for 1 hour 15 minutes, which has 2600 milliamp hours of battery. The Axon 7 recharges for 1.5 hours exactly, and it has 3250 milliamp hours of battery. The Honor Note 8 recharges for exactly 2 hours, but it has a whooping 4500 milliamp hours of battery. And the Samsung Galaxy Note 5 recharges for 1 hour 15 minutes, and it has 3000 milliamp hours of battery. Now when it comes down to battery life, well, unfortunately, LG G5 is gonna come to last place once again. 2.5-3 hours of screen on time on the LG G5, maximum 4 hours, Wi-Fi only, doing nothing. Absolutely abysmal battery life. Next one is the Note 5. The configuration of this 1440p screen plus the powerful Exynos chipset. Man, I was struggling to get 4 hours on screen on time, probably because it's an imported device, it doesn't support band 20, so it's struggling a little bit, but definitely the Note 5 is on the 4th place. The Moto Z, surprisingly, I could get 5 hours of screen on time, which is absolutely ridiculous considering the very small, actually the smallest battery of the Moto Z, so if you like the Moto Z, don't worry about the battery life. Now the Axon 7, easy 6 hours of screen on time, 4, 5, 6 hours of screen on time, beautiful screen, 4040p. I'm pretty happy with the battery life. That's the phone to go if you're looking for an excellent battery life. And now the monster, 4500 milliamp hours of battery, easy 8 hours, every single time, easy 8 hours, Wi-Fi only, probably over 10 hours of screen on time. So that's our battery chump of today. Now when it comes down to headphone output, I'm gonna make just a small change over here. Unfortunately, again, the LG G5 is on the last place. I know they're trying to sell you a Bang & Olufsen additional DAC, but I mean Snapdragon 820, that's basically the poorest results you can get out of the headphone jack. The results are pretty much average, I would say. After that is the Moto Z. It's just a little bit above average. That's the only phone that you have to use an adapter because it doesn't have a headphone jack, which is a bummer, but at least they gave you one in the box, so you can't really complain. After that, I'm quite happy with the Exynos, to be honest with you. It's a little bit better, just a little bit better than the Moto Z, but it's perfectly fine for listening to casual music. After that, I'm gonna give it to the Axon 7. That might be a surprise to you. The headphone output is absolutely ridiculous. It's very good, it's very nice, bass and everything else. But the undisputed champ over here is the Honor Note 8. Somehow, I have no idea how, this phone is louder and it has more bass than the Axon 7. Believe it or not, that's the truth. I was surprised myself as well. Basically, if you don't believe me or anything like that, I've got over 20 minutes videos on every single one of those phones. So feel free to watch the videos, but definitely headphone output, I'm gonna give it to this one. Now it's time to reorder the phones for speaker output. Speaker output, unfortunately, the Moto Z has only a mono firing speaker over here, and it's pretty bad and tinny, actually. It gets the job done, but nah, it's not good. That's why you've got the Moto Mode. With the Moto Mode, this phone goes, it goes outside the table. I mean, that's the best with the Moto Mode, but without the Moto Mode, the speaker is pretty much bullshit on this one. Now, third and fourth place is kind of shared between those two. They have nearly identical bottom firing speakers. This one is a little bit better for music, it has a little bit more bass, and this one is a little bit better for mids, basically for voice. So if you're watching your favorite YouTube videos, like mine, this one is gonna get the voices a little bit better than this one. After that, we have the LG G5. It finally moved out of the last place, and the speaker on this one is a beast. I mean, it's clearly the loudest one. The voice is absolutely phenomenal. The overall qualities are really high. If you're gonna do a single firing speaker, bottom speaker, you gotta do it like LG. Absolutely kudos and thumbs up for the speaker on this phone. And now the first place go to the Axon 7 dual speaker setup, very nice, very loud and clear. Nothing can beat the Axon 7 in terms of speakers, probably the Alcatel Idol 4S, but that's a personal preference. To my book, this phone wins today's competition. Now let's order the phones in terms of cameras. Now what cameras do we have over here? The Note 8 we've got a 13 megapixel cam 4:3 aspect ratio. The Axon 7 20 megapixel cam 16:9 aspect ratio. The Moto Z we've got a 13 megapixel 4:3 aspect ratio. The Note 5 we've got a 16 megapixel 16:9 aspect ratio. And on the G5 we've got more or less the same 16 megapixel 16:9 aspect ratio camera. Why the Honor is at the last place? The camera app is the richest one of all of them, but it's just the camera is just not there. I mean, it's on a different level, it's on a basically mid-range level. After that, the Axon 7. Unfortunately, this camera has great potential, but because of the completely not optimized camera app of the ZT, this phone gets the 4th place today. After that is the Moto Z. I was actually surprised because everybody was bashing the camera, and actually the camera on this one is quite good, actually the HDR, so it easily gets my 3rd place. Now the battle between those two is quite close. I've put the Note 5 on the 2nd place after the G5, simply because the resolved detail of the G5 is a little bit better, and also the colors are a little bit more true and as you see through your eyes. This one is a little bit more like oversaturated, a little bit more tweaked, and the most natural look you're gonna get is from the LG G5's camera. Now for these 3 phones, the video camera doesn't change at all. They're pretty much useless when shooting videos. The Moto has a good stabilization though. I'm gonna give it the good stabilization, but in terms of quality, it's not very good. Now I switched those 2 places simply because the stabilization and the autofocus of the G5 is nowhere nearly as good as the Axon 7. If you're moving around, that's the video cam that you want with you. Now when it comes down to selfie shooters, you've got an 8 megapixel camera here, 8 megapixel camera here, 5 megapixel here, 8 here, 5 here. And in order to be extremely objective, let me do this. Double press here. Let me make a selfie quickly. Okay. Now let's have a look at those shots individually. The Honor Note 8, 8 megapixels, pretty good details as you can see. Let's check the cut over here. Yeah, a little bit of noise at the background, but overall, you can see my wrinkles here. Overall, I'm quite happy with this photo. Note 5. Although I switched the beauty effects, as you can see, my face is a little bit blurred. It's like I'm wearing makeup. I'm really not. And the cat is quite blurry as well at the background, so this one I'm not very happy. I'm gonna leave it over here. LG G5, 8 megapixels. Check this out. Every single detail of my beard is on point. And the cat is good as well, not that much noise. I definitely like this one as well. Okay, so we said the Note and the 5 are quite good. Now let's have a look at the Axon. It's a little bit blurred. The wrinkles are not very visible, which I'm quite happy with. At least the cat is on focus. There's a little bit too much noise going on. Green noise over here. I'm really not a fan of that. But let's say it's okay. Let's say it's okay. I mean, it's a little bit better than the Note. And now let's check the Moto Z. The Moto Z is so blurry. The cat is not on focus. Everything is washed out over here. So I would easily say that basically the worst one, the worst one is the Moto Z, unfortunately. After that is the Note. Too much beauty mode going on, although I switched it off. After that is the Axon. I mean, the 3 of them are really not good, honestly. And the first place is between the LG G5 and the Honor Note 8, which comes to a surprise simply because the front camera of this one is the worst, but the selfie cam probably is the best one. So what about software? In no particular order, let me tell you about the software in each one of those phones. The Moto Z, the quickest monthly updates. When I got this phone, I got like 7 updates one after another. It keeps getting updated every single month. So in terms of updates, kudos for Motorola. Unfortunately, the plain and stock Android is a little bit too plain and too bare bones for me. You've got totally no additional extras apart from these gestures over here. Twist to switch on the camera, as well as chop for the torch. And basically that's about it. Is the quickest one, actually is the quickest one in terms of speed and overall UI experience. That's the quickest phone you can get. After that, the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. Well, I finally got Nougat just last month. It took them a good half a year later than anybody else. The interface doesn't feel as fluid as the other ones. It feels a little bit kind of, you know, a little bit slow, a little bit outdated. You've got plenty of customizations though, plenty of functions. So I definitely like it as well. It's not as plain as the stock Android, but it's just, you know, it's not for everybody. Not everybody likes the lag whiz or touch whiz or whatever you want to call it. Now the Axon 7, you're getting regular updates. It took them quite some time to release Nougat and to fix all of the problems that the software had. The one thing that I really love about this phone is the Lockscreen Wallpapers. Check this out, guys. Every single time you're getting a very nice and unique Lockscreen Wallpapers. They're manually picked and they're really amazing. Otherwise, the Android experience is more or less stock. You can't really change the themes, but at least you can change the color accents, which is at least something compared to, let's say, the Moto Z. So overall, not bad, not bad. Now after that, we've got the LG UI. I finally got Nougat. I had to flash it myself because that's the American version, so I had to flash it myself, which hides a risk of breaking your phone. I'm really not feeling that, but anyway, that's a carrier thing rather than something else. If I have gotten the unlocked one, I wouldn't have this issue. But anyway, the UI is pretty much very quick and fluid. You've got theme support, you can change basically everything. You've got quite a lot of extras related to rearranging the home buttons and everything else. So I really can't complain of the software of LG G5, to be honest with you. And now the Honor Note 8. It has pretty conservative battery draining, you know, settings and this and that. You may be gonna have some problems getting all of your notifications or Android Wear running if you still have a watch. But I've got a different video on this one, how to fix all of your notifications. But as you can see, it's very quick, it's very responsive. Check this out. I've got an S8 theme installed. It works quite well. This processor is basically a beast. Over here you've got the lock screen wallpapers as well, but there are just a couple of them and they're not nearly as good as the ones on the Axon 7. So software is a personal preference, but you will not be disappointed of any of those phones. Now gaming performance. What can I say about the gaming performance, guys? These three devices are running the same chipsets basically, and gaming performance as well as heat is probably more or less on the same level. The Samsung Galaxy Note 5 has a little bit more outdated chipset, and basically when you're loading up heavy games like Mortal Kombat, like something like that, it takes a little bit more time to load the game. But after that, you can tone down the screen resolution to 1080p, and even in 1440p, the gaming performance is better than those ones over here. And now the Honor Note 8 is a little bit of a strange one. I mean, it's not as quick as the Snapdragon 820, but it's a little bit faster than the Note 5. But in terms of gaming, you definitely need to turn the screen down to 1080p. Otherwise, on 1440p, your frame rate is struggling a little bit. But even on 1080p, it's still a very good performer. But unfortunately, in terms of games, I'm gonna give it the last place in today's comparison. So the last thing I want to talk about, guys, is the additional extras that you're getting. With this phone, you see you're getting the Moto display here, you're getting the module support, and let me tell you that most of those modules are quite good. They definitely do the job, and in terms of, you know, versatility and lifestyle, I'm definitely gonna give it to the Moto Z, because you just slap a mode, a battery mode, a projector mode, a sound mode or whatever, and you're good to go. So definitely thumbs up to Motorola for including the mods. Now, other special features. In the Axon 7, the highlight of this phone is definitely the dual stereo speakers. They're absolutely amazing, and the lock screen application, I really love it. And pretty much that's it. I mean, nothing special really apart from that. The LG G5 offers modules as well, but the way they've executed that is absolutely ridiculous, and I really don't feel like putting an extra camera grip. Why do you even need that? Extra DAC, and I'll use this module as well. And now the battery, although I really like this kind of module, it just brings the size of the phone up, and it's as big as the other phones. So in terms of versatility, I really don't like the LG G5, but on the other hand, the camera setup, the dual camera setup is the highlight of this phone, guys. If you want to buy this phone, that's for the dual camera setup. Now the Note 5, you've got the S Pen. You take the pen out, you take a quick memo of whatever you're gonna take, basically. So yeah, kudos for the S Pen. On the Note 8, you've got no additional extras or any special features, guys, but at least the battery life is ridiculous. So let's sum it up. Considering that all those phones cost about 280–290 pounds imported here in the UK and everywhere in the world, basically, which one should you get? I really hope that you watched the video and you decided for yourself which one has the most functions that you're going to use. But basically, let me sum it up quickly. The highlights of the phones are the following. For the Moto Z, it's extremely slim, and we've got the sound mods. That's the selling point of this phone. The Axon 7, you've got the best kind of overall package, and you've got the most powerful speakers on a phone built in. So if you're for the Axon 7, buy it for the audio and not for the camera. The LG G5, because of the screen retention and because of the terrible battery life, I can only recommend this phone because of the dual camera. The wide angle camera setup is really amazing, and the main camera being one of the best cameras right now. So if you're in for the G5, you buy it for the camera. The Note 5, it offers a really, the whole package, premium build quality, amazing screen, amazing gaming performance, and really good camera. Probably one of the best cameras still in 2017. So overall, a really good phone as well. And the other Note 8, I realized the phone is definitely not for everybody, especially the camera is a little bit weak, but the front-facing cam is excellent, the battery life is ridiculous, and the screen, have a look at this screen once again, guys. I mean, the highlight of this phone is the screen and basically the overall media experience and the crazy battery life. So yeah, spend 300 on a phone today. Don't spend 600, 700 or 800 pounds on a phone, which is not very much better than any of these phones. For myself personally, I can't really justify spending that much money on a phone. All of those phones, I bought them when they became a little bit cheaper and a little bit more affordable. So that's my threshold, about 350 pounds. I can't really justify spending more on a phone. So yeah, the video came up a little bit longer than expected, but that's the first time that I'm doing a so comprehensive comparison between such great phones. So I'm really glad if I managed to help you out to decide which phone is better for you guys. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments down below, hit the thumbs up button, by the way, subscribe to my channel as well, and see you in the next one. Peace.